All right, we're live. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us for this Tuesday session of Morning Journal. And yeah, we're here. We're gonna do 3 prompts in this session. That's sort of the goal right now, going forward, is to come in and go do 3 prompts. Well, actually, 1 check-in and then 2 additional prompts for now. But before we get into the prompts, I wanted to, uh, I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to say, but in my current setup, I don't have my laptop up. So it might take me a second to get on, to remember what it was I wanted to say to start the session prior to the getting into the prompts. I think, okay, now I remember. And it's fitting that I had a little bit of a struggle getting online in my mind with what I wanted to talk about, because we're talking about attention today in the prompts that we have. And I was listening to a conversation about how we are just kind of generally, as an average, we are not as sharp as we used to be in terms of our ability to maintain a consistent train of thought and do some of the basic cognitive things. There was a study that pointed out that since 2012, all the measurable, or many of the measurable things related to solving problems and thinking, critical thinking, and a lot of the things that they measure, those numbers have been going down since 2012. And I know, just in my own experience, I recognize things are different, largely as a result of the way that I've been deploying my attention and the things that I've been attending to. But the good news is, this is not like there isn't anything structurally wrong, structurally different. It's a behavioral thing. It's not like our brains are less capable. It's just we've been using them in a way that may not be conducive to getting us the results that we want. So it made me think about that and think about the ways that I, engage in the world. So we've got a couple prompts to give us a chance to address or interrogate our own use of our mind and our attention in the ways that we move through the world and what it's making of us. One of the prompts, it's not one that we're going to be using today, but I just remembered, what am I making and what is it making of me? Our entire experience, what we call reality, is just is the end result of the output of our attention is the totality of our reality. We don't know, we're only aware of, and we only interpret things through what we attend to. There's a whole world of things that are outside of our awareness because, we're not noticing them. So to bring us into the first prompt, right now I notice, yes, it is an opportunity to come into the present space and scale down, in a sense, the overwhelming number of inputs. If we call attention to specific things that we notice, it's a way to get a handle on that. And when we expand the question beyond the present moment, like, what have I been noticing? That might give us an insight into how we're feeling. So we can get into our first prompt. Right now I notice, and if you want to expand it a little bit broader, if you want to take a look back, what have I been noticing, as a way to begin our conversation this morning. All right, so we got response. T. Mizzle says, right now I notice I don't seem to learn from mistakes. I don't seem to learn from mistakes. Okay. I guess the way that you notice that is, I guess you have to kind of look around and see what's going on and recognize a pattern that you seem to be repeating. I know, I guess we all have things that come up for us again and again. Sometimes situations come in a very thin disguise. You know, a situation will come up. It won't be exactly the same. It'll be like wearing some glasses and a mustache. So it can slip by and we'll end up doing, falling for it again because of that thinly veiled disguise that everybody seems to see through but us, you know, because because there's a sense that I guess some things we want to be true, or some things we don't want to be true. And if we come in with our preconceived or preset desire of how we want them to be, we are predisposed to see them that way, and then we can make the excuses. Oh, well, yeah, I know last time it was like this, but it's not like that this time because of this little insignificant difference. So we try it again. Yeah, and I guess to get to the bottom of stuff like that, it might be useful to ask, well, what do I want to be true that I know isn't true? You know, what do I believe that I deep down know isn't true? So similarly, it's given glory says, I notice myself falling into the same patterns, falling into the same, well, yes. Yeah, you're seeing the same things, right? It's like, yeah, I keep doing this and I keep getting this. Well, I guess the good news is um, when you can recognize it and acknowledge it. That's the big thing. A lot of times, and say it out loud, because everybody, sometimes people can tell you, or you can come to someone and they can notice it and they can say it, and you can get defensive of it or you can make excuses for it. But if you're willing to look at it honestly and say, okay, well, this is what I always keep doing, it's better than being oblivious to it. So at least there is a chance that there'll be a point of decision. There'll be a turning point, another opportunity to face that thinly disguised situation and see through it. And it'd be like, okay, nice try. I got you this time. Nice try. We're not gonna do that this time. And I guess well, the biggest thing that breaks you out of a pattern, I guess, is the one time that you take it differently and it goes better. You can, like, okay, this is what I want. You won't be completely invulnerable to it. You'll still have the same vulnerability to the habits that are kind of ingrained in you. But the more you surface it and let it live, not in the subconscious, but like, okay, let me look at this thing for a second. You can start gradually building a different groove. We had a prompt yesterday in a session. What was something from my past that doesn't fit into my future? So that's another way to reflect on if you find yourself in a negative set of activities, which it's a human trait. We have our routines, we have our things that we're comfortable with. We're comfortable with it even if it's not productive. It's just familiar. So we do these familiar things that might not get us what we want, but at least it's it takes some of the uncertainty out of it, because you know you're not having to make these choices because it's kind of like a script that you're running. So that's another way to kind of look at those loops that we're living in and see, like, okay, well, what's really doing here? So SO is here. Welcome in. It's good to see you. We're still noticing right now. I guess you might have happened to wake up pre-alarm to see what's going on. It's always great to have you here. So we're talking about what we notice, and then we're talking about what we've been noticing. So there's the right now in the moment where we're just kind of looking around and reflecting internally. And then this kind of the broader picture of what have I been noticing, to get a picture of kind of your view of your life in the world, what your state has been sort of in aggregate as a general mood, your current vibe, your era, as they say. This is like, if you could describe an era that you're in right now, it's a collection of experiences that you've been engaging in and things that you've been noticing. How would you describe that era? So here's our next prompt. What am I afraid of missing out on? What am I afraid of missing out on? Is there something very tangible that is a possibility for you that maybe you're not sure if you're going to be able to achieve the thing or gather the resources for the thing? Is there a way that you are engaging your attention now that's not conducive to something that you feel like you really want, but you find yourself, frozen and not feeling capable of acting in that direction? You feel like something is passing you by, maybe something that feels out of reach somehow. There's a whole economy that's built around creating a fear of missing out, feeling like a lot of things that there's an urgency to try to be a part of so many things that are available to you, and you can't do it all. You have to make difficult choices about what's important, and it's going to necessitate intentionally missing out on other things. So you really have to get some really clear pictures of what matters most, so that the limited time and attention and energy that you have on any given day you have to come to peace with that decision to disregard so many possibilities of ways to engage your attention, spend your time, etc. But it doesn't mean that there isn't a twinge of regret or fear that maybe I chose wrong. I've chosen this path to the exclusion of all these other paths, these other opportunities. And now I'm dealing with that, buyer's remorse. So Eso says, I'm afraid of missing out on my niece's childhood. Yeah, that's definitely time that moves. Kids grow up, and they grow up, and it's an irreversible process. They are, if you're in a situation where you don't see someone every day, or on a consistent basis, it seems like they are a whole different person every time you see them. So it's definitely a thing to have in mind. If there's someone who's important to you, being mindful about the time that you have with them. And I guess because it may not be something that you have complete control over in terms of when there's an opportunity, because of there's distance or other obligations. I guess the only way to address that is when you are there, be really there. Really pay attention when you're there and appreciate it. And that goes a long way. And I guess as long as there is a seed that is nurtured, however it is over the course of the years, you get to enjoy, you know, they're going to be an adult a lot longer than they're going to be a child. And as someone with an adult child, I know I missed a lot, many, many years when she was younger. Well, I cherish now what we have, our connection now. So T Mizzle says, I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on aha moment. My aha moment. Hmm. I guess the thing about the aha moments is, I don't know. I don't know if you ever felt like you've had something that seemed like it might be an aha moment, if you've experienced that already. Um, but I know I have, and it takes a while before it proves to be the case. Um, because I've had many times where I feel like, okay, yeah, that's it. And then you go deeper into it and it wasn't it. Um, I think um, for a lot of people, there is the idea that this light bulb goes on and like, that's it, that's the ticket. And I guess the tragedy is if it is something that comes of opportunity comes up and you're not ready for it and you can't do anything with it, that would be one way of missing out on an aha moment. But another way to look at that is um, if you're not ready for it, it really wasn't for you, not yet anyway. So I don't think it, I don't think anything is gonna hit you in the head. The insights are probably going to be something that emerge as you engage, as you do things, and the deeper you go down a particular path, the more relevant the insights are, and the more capable you are of being able to do something with it. Yeah. So you don't know why you think that. Well, I mean, I guess I think that we're kind of conditioned to think that way. If you look at the stories that people tell about, insight or kind of revolutionary, game-changing ideas or whatever the case may be, it seems to show up as sort of this flashbulb moment, and that's the story that gets told. That's the package that gets presented. Um, but I don't really know if it happens that way, or if that one single moment that the mythology is built around um, is the main thing, um, because it won't stand alone. No idea just stands alone without work behind it and after it. So I guess if the focus is on just continuing to do the work and accepting the ideas as they come, that might be a way to navigate that fear. All right, final prompt for today's session. Here we go. So, what is the clearest target currently in my sights? What are you aiming at? So, I guess the thing about, it kind of ties to your comment about the aha moment. Um, if you're not if you're not aiming at anything specific, then a good idea is just another idea, because you're not you're not headed in a specific direction, so you won't be able to act on it. So a clear target that's in your sight, like what are you specifically looking at, aiming at, um a direction that you're going towards. I'm not even going to necessarily put it in the language of a goal, um, because when there's a goal, it feels like the value of it is in achieving it. But it, with a target, it just gives you a place to aim at. And if you don't hit it, then it's like feedback. All right, well, I need to move over to the left. So having the target, it just gives you a way to help you navigate. And there might be a lot of rewarding things that happen short of hitting the target. Um, and having a target, it can sort of, yeah, because if you're just out there shooting, if you're just out there pulling, drawing the bow. You can get good at the process of drawing the bow, but it's good to have something that you're looking at and that you're aiming at. So for SO, my current target is maintaining a budget and becoming money smart. So yeah, maybe door dashing a little less, cooking a little more often. Yeah, it makes a big difference when when you feel like you got your money right. There's the oof. I don't know. I feel like you don't have to confirm this, but I feel like I have the suspicion that somewhere in your line of sight at this moment is a bag with a partially consumed takeout container. ESO says, "Oh, that's all budgeted in." Okay, yeah, you said if it's yes, budgeted in, so it's all good. You said, "Don't call me out." Well, hey, I was just basing it on the conversation. If you were here yesterday, previous session, ESO was talking about you know the takeout game. The clearest target that T. Mizzle is aiming for right now is independence. I'm aiming towards independence. So, you know, that what does that look like? And is the choice about to make right now moving me closer to or away from independence based on my experience? Doing more of this or less of that, where is that taking me? Chloe says, my target is better health and wellness. Yeah, better health and wellness. That's a good direction to go in. And to satisfy the clearest target, you might have to do some additional work to bring that into focus, define what that looks like. For each of this, independence, what does that look like? Money smart, what does that look like? So you're trying to face the direction of better health and wellness. And then now you can follow up with the additional work of what does that look like? We talked about what we notice and what we've been noticing. We've talked about things that we might be afraid of missing out on. And finally, we're looking at a target that's clearly in our sights. What are we currently aiming for? And I really appreciate everyone's engagement with these questions and spending their time here. Hopefully it was a good session for you. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. It might be kind of a weird session tomorrow morning because I think I'm going to be out and about. But I'm still going to pop on and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation, even if it's a little weird. Because, I'm on the phone. So if I got my phone with me and I got service, then we can do this. All right. Thank you. And I hope y'all have a great day.